they deny ever hearing from you, it's hard to get them to the table. I tried using your process with that, but got nowhere. I met with Leon one-on-one and asked him several questions to clarify things that I'd heard and people had said to me. And he got, because I was questioning him and asking him questions, he got mad and walked out. Said I was, if he'd known it had been an inquisition, he would never have showed up in the first place. I've made every effort to try to work things out with him. Even in the last week, we tried to email and I made comment that if he wanted to get together, sit down on this before this meeting, I'd be willing to. I've not gotten anywhere. I don't know if it's the old, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink thing, but a conversation takes two people, and it takes listening and talking, but mostly listening. And my goal when I met with him the first time, or on that point, was to see, because I was seeing a lot of dissension between the board. There was not a lot of good working relationships. I observed Leon trying to control the meeting, even though there is a chairman of the board. I watched him bring things in to that board without notifying the rest of the board members, which is why I questioned Mike, knowing that they are good friends, to the fact that he was bringing stuff up that the rest of you were not made aware of, that it wasn't officially even put on the agenda. Would have been a very simple fact. Working together, working as a team and having respect for each other is what is going to make that board work. There is nothing there. There is nothing there.
My only question is, when, as you just said, and I've been to several board meetings, sat there, is you're saying the board's not working because of the three people sitting here.
No, I'm saying because of Leon's position, or Leon's activities and behavior.
And I think what needs to be brought up here is that maybe those two board members can make a comment on what they feel the problems are and whether they think anything's going to be made better by him being removed. Because the board is what needs to make those decisions. And you know, if you're saying the chairman probably is uncomfortable because of some of the things go on, what does the rest of the board want? You know, I remember a comment made that one of the board members was going to resign because of his activities, and that individual has since said no.
She's not the only one I talked to. That wasn't the person I was speaking to.
But I'm talking about the board members.
Yeah, and I am too.
But you said that board member said she was going to resign because of Leon.
She said she was going to resign because the length of the meetings was causing problems with her work.
So does that mean that Leon's causing those problems, or is it because the answers aren't being given and so the meeting goes on forever because of continual going after questions on information? That's what I'm saying here.
The conversation we had on the things she said, she is now denying all of it, or part of it. I don't know, Mike even called me one day and told me I never had that meeting with her. You know, she didn't say anything. It's like, okay, did I dream all this or what?
Well,
but no.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
a meeting with who?
When I had the meeting with Leon. Or no, when I talked to Linda Dugan. You told me I never talked to her.
I don't know whether you did or not. I don't think we had a conversation that I said. I honestly don't remember that, Bonnie.
Yeah.
I don't.
It seems to be a convenient answer in a lot of cases, is not remembering or not getting phone calls or things to that degree.
Well, so. I think we have two of the board members sitting here, and I think I have no problem with them. Are they if they can answer a very simple question?
It's too bad we don't have the other two here.
Well, they could have been here.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're not here.
Because they're tired of dealing with Leon.
Well, that's too bad. Then that's their battle.
It must not be very important.
They should have showed up if they was tired of dealing with Leon.
I just went through that whole thing on the airport committee, with all kinds of things being said, and the individual that was behind everything never wanted to come to the airport committee to substantiate anything that he ever told to other people.
And you also had some accusations made that never were proven.
That's right,
Yeah.
but it was all hearsay that somebody said that this was this and that was that. Had I gone totally on what I was hearing from hearsay, we'd be in a bad situation right now.
I'm
I
going
know
with-
somebody
I'm going with
disagrees with
what
me on
my
that,
eye
but
hear.
that would, had I gone by that type of conversation, so I guess that's where I'm coming from. Yeah, the other two aren't here. They should have been here. I don't understand why they're not here, outside of they're letting you do their dirty work.
Very possible.
Bonnie, I would like to say one thing. I too went to that meeting last week.
I know you took,
and I
that's
went
where you
to-
got all your notes from, isn't it? From that meeting? Isn't that what you were taking that
No,
meeting?
no, this,
Oh, yeah.
no,
You were, I mean, you were doing a lot of writing and notes.
well, that was
That meeting.
these notes.
Oh.
And actually, I was writing them in French because I didn't know who the guy in the suit was sitting next to me.
You did know that was Leon's
I
attorney that was
didn't.
sitting next to you?
I didn't
Well, neither
until
did anybody else there, since he didn't introduce himself.
I didn't.
so.
He chose
you didn't
not
have to.
He didn't have to, so.
Right.
But I've been to one other, a couple months ago, and it was, but my only purpose was to sit there and really watch the interactions of the board. I have a good background of being able to tell how people are getting along, how things are going. I didn't have any reason for the rest of it. I don't think that we, as a council, should be concerned with the rest of it.
You thought they were getting along and it was functioning fine?
I'll tell you what I thought. No, it was going back and forth, which is fine. People should have those kind of conversations. I think that too often, especially when people haven't, I came from a corporate background. We used to sit in a room and fight like you can't believe, and then we'd go out and have a beer. You have to be able to have those conversations to really get to the bottom. I didn't see that much wrong with what was going on. But what I found to be very interesting is Brian directed every comment that he made, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was about the cancer board. He asked Leon 3 or 4 questions. He asked Leon what he thought, something else, and how much should we give. He didn't ask anybody else. Then it came to the marketing company, and I don't know what their name was, ICAM or something. But again, Leon was the one who asked the questions. Leon was the one who really took charge of the discussions with him, and I won't say that he caught him trying. It's a negotiation thing. They were saying one price, setting the board up for one thing. He said he thought it was a little high. The guy came down. So it was. I guess that's just his background. But my point is, everything that I saw there, Brian didn't pay any attention to any of the board members. He directed everything at Leon.
Because that's how most of the meetings go.
Well, then, if it goes that way and 2 of the other 3 are comfortable with it, why do we care? Why do we care? It's none of our business.
They're an entity the same as we are. We should be working together as a team. We used to do that as the city and the light plant used to do a lot of work together and support
We
each
can
other.
still do that.
The staff have been told they can't without
But I
keeping
don't know
track
by
so
who.
that they can get.
None of us know by who. I don't know that. I don't know anything what you're talking about that they haven't. And see, Bonnie, this is why I prefer when we get in situations like this, that we should do things on a whiteboard, on paper, so that people can see it and you see the good and the bad, the pros and the cons. Because otherwise, it's too much he said, she said. And
Are we gonna need to
can't
do that at every council meeting on every
Maybe.
resolution we're gonna make?
Maybe.
You think?
I think we should have done it on the trees the other day. But, I do, but that's another subject. But if we have to, I will. I mean, I lead a pretty boring life after 8 o'clock. I can stay here till 10, 11 o'clock. I want to understand what's going on. But this maybe is one of the most important things we'll do this year, Bonnie. And I think we deserve, and maybe I deserve a little bit of latitude for not knowing the whole system from being new. But I think us four, and maybe all of us, but us four really need to understand all sides of this before we make a decision.
Well, I would, Mike, just to interject here while it's still in my mind, the comment about the city and the light plant working together, I don't recall Mr. Bachman standing at that podium and saying, we've made a 10% reduction in your utility rates and we can't afford to continue to be Santa Claus, and so therefore we can't continue to do many of the things that we have done, and we may even have to start charging the city for it. And I don't think that was Mr. Bachman standing at that podium making that comment.
He would have been one of the board members that made that decision. That wouldn't have been a decision made by the general
I
manager.
have had personal conversations. When you talk about things being promised and things being said without going to the board for approval and promises made, and I'm not going to get into them.
No, we are not getting into any
But-
employment
But
situation.
I understand that, but you are opening Pandora's box by saying that because he doesn't call up every board member and the chairman, the executive person, and run his idea by them before the meeting. Now, that's what I was told I had to do when I first went on to city council. I was told you don't ask a question on television because we may not know it and we're going to look bad. And
Do you feel
therefore,
that's
we're
the way
not.
it is now?
I don't think it is the way on the city council now,
Okay.
but what you're saying is that you shouldn't bring anything up, shouldn't take a particular stand on something unless I run it by everybody, which we've all been told numerous times that that's against the law. That if I contact all 7 council members